first stop is East Henderson High School in Hendersonville, North Carolina. So you see Jerry and his friend walking through the courtyard on the last day of school. Jerry is almost late for his bus. Well, he is late for his bus. And as we're walking through this little corridor, I just want to give a thanks to Colton. He works at the school, and when I first saw him, I thought he was going to come kick me out, but he actually gave me a lot of good info about the movie. So shout out to you, man, if you're watching. So yeah, Jerry chases after the school bus through the parking lot here. And if you look over to the right here, you'll see the baseball field in the very back. That's our next stop. So now we're at the baseball field. This is where Jerry is walking past a game. So you can kind of tell by these trees in the background here. And yeah, they ask him to throw the ball over the fence. Mostly looks the same. There's like a new roof on that dugout, and that building to the right wasn't there. But yeah, this is the spot. And again, thanks to Colton for pointing this out, because there were 2 baseball fields at this high school. Always a hilarious scene here. But yeah, it was very cool to be in this exact spot. But yeah, that was my time at East Henderson High School. And this is where the bus drives past on the road here. McDonald's, Bojangles, and Taco Bell lined up. This is the place. Not too far from the school. I am on the way to Camp Tonawanda, aka Camp Hope. Well, it was filmed in 2 different camps, Camp Tonawanda and Camp Pinnacle. My first stop is Camp Tonawanda. Go here. $19.33. Oh. $19.90s. 1, 2, 3 blobbing. Alright, so this is where, in the promotional video for Camp Hope, you can see Jerry Stiller sitting right here in front of this lake. The lake is a little dry now, obviously, but yeah, this is it. Driving up now to the exterior of the gym, and the people that run the camp said that they remember them filming here because they had like big lights set up out here. They were filming at night while they were mimicking daylight, so they had big lights shining through the windows here. But about to go inside and check it out. The gymnasium scene from Heavyweights. This back room, this is where Jerry Stiller walks out, gives all the campers the bad news.
Never let anyone sign your checks. Please.
And of course, the lights and the sirens start going off, and Tony Perkis shows up. Can you smell it?
There's a life force in here tonight. Do you feel it?
So this is the window that Tony was sitting in at the end of the movie. There was a facade built from this pillar to that pillar that was put there for the movie. But yes, this is the window. I thought the villain was a little over the top. And I'm trying to figure out where he does the flips and crashes into the wall. And props to the stuntman for that scene, because if you go back and watch it, he really takes that hit. But I think that was back here. And yeah, this is where Tony and Laws come running in, run up to the stage, give the high fives afterwards, where nobody high fives them back. Yeah, it's crazy to be here, but this is so cool. So Kim from Camp Tonawanda, she mentioned that, you know, they had signs all around this place, like Perkis Power, Perkisizing, and we were trying to find some. Hopefully those turn up at some point, because I would love a Perkisizing sign or anything from the production. But I still have to go to Camp Pinnacle. That's like 5 minutes down the road. Gonna pack up here and head down to Camp Pinnacle.
I forgot how big they were.
Yeah.
These are monsters.
Were these made for the movie, or?
I don't know, because they were. I don't think they were ours. I don't think, because we had to.
Yeah.
Because everybody always talks about the movie with them.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Apache stuff.
Yeah, maybe the at the end of the movie with the Apache race. Yeah, I'll have to like screen match it. See if I can find it. That is pretty cool.
We took them down when, you know, Indians became the.
Oh, sure.
Because we used to be Mohawks, Cherokees, and Navajos too. So.
Oh, that's right. Oh, you're so cute. You're so cute. Oh my goodness.
Loving all the love.
I'm gonna take you home with me. Ugh.
Well, you can't. You're gonna want the big one? Okay, come on.
This is where you see the bus pull in. Obviously, they changed the sign for the movie. They had Camp Hope over this. But this is the entrance to Camp Hope. All right. I'm not rolling yet. Are you rolling now?
Oh, hey, I'm not rolling yet.
One of the best scenes of the movie, that little line. Love it. Yeah, this is where Ben Stiller comes out of the door, jogs over here. Kenny the cameraman is over here. And the scale
This is the moment we've all been waiting for,
is right about here. Get on the scale, son.
Get off the scale.
So cool to be in this spot right now. And this is where one of my favorite scenes of the movie takes place.
Muscle weighs more than fat! Hooray!
So I had to come back to this location where they did the weigh-ins, because this is actually, I found out, the place where the dance took place. This is where Paul Feig lights up the dance floor, saves the party. Yeah, it all took place here. This was all decorated around here. And a huge thank you to literally everybody I've met at Camp Tonawanda and Camp Pinnacle. They've all been very helpful, and I'll show them screenshots and they're like, yeah, this was over at this cabin. And it's a huge help to have somebody that knows the layout of this place. Here it is. This is where the Blob was. Currently not here, obviously, but it's only here during the summertime. They take it out and blow it up. But yeah, there is where basically every 90s kid's dream took place. Everybody wanted to jump on the Blob. If it were here right now, I would definitely jump on it. But unfortunately, it's not. So I believe that this is the same deck where a lot of the scenes took place. Learning experience. Make sure I have the movie downloaded because there's no Wi-Fi out here, so I can't skim through it through Amazon Prime to find the exact spots. But I'm pretty sure that this is it. Jerry and Pat have a lot of scenes together out here. I'm not sure if that's the same deck where they kind of have that heartfelt conversation and they start yelling at Camp MVP across the lake. But this is where it all took place, I think. This is probably not the same deck. This looks newer. But hey, 30 years. A lot of things change. But a lot of things stay the same. The buddy system takes place. Buddy? Body? Buddy! I don't know. It's kind of hot out here. I'm sort of losing my mind. And this is where they're doing the slide. So you can tell by these 4 trees here. It looks like they lost one at one point. But about right here is where they're doing the slide. I'm feeling skinny, Tony. And one thing that makes this scene even more hilarious, like if you're here in person, this is so sloped. This overlooks the lake back here. But yeah, this is where the kids are doing that 90s infomercial workout craze for a little bit. I don't even know what you call that thing. But yeah, this is where it took place. You'll all be doing this by Labor Day. So this is where the ice breaking scene took place. If you notice these 3 trees back here, they line up. So Ben Stiller would have been somewhere in here. I wish I could have seen that in person. Basically the same place as, you got the Blob over there. This is where they were doing the slide scene. Yeah, a lot of scenes took place in this grassy area here. So this is what I'm told to be the Chipmunk Cabin, the boys' cabin. In the movie, you can see Chipmunk sign on the right-hand side there. Pat and Jerry have a scene here, but as you can tell, the front of it has been completely redone. I gotta say, if my parents sent me here when I was a kid, I would have lost my mind. Waking up every day and going down a slide. And unfortunately, I cannot get into any of the cabins to even look for the Chipmunk Cabin. Because as you can see here, well, hello? This one's open. Hello? They have literally all been screwed shut. I mean, this one just has a padlock on it, but yeah, it's unfortunate. So this is the cabin, or not cabin. This is a house, but this is Tony's house. As you can tell, looks a little different from the movie. They've done a lot of renovations, but I lined everything up, and this is the house. And this is the sliding window that the kids go through. Took me a while to line everything up. And you see here, these trees all line up as well. I mean, this is 30 years ago. But the tree where one of the kids is hiding, I'm going to try to point it out. This one. Come on, T. Let's do it up. So yeah, this is where Tony runs off the porch. Oops. You can see these same bushes to the right here. And he takes off this way. So this is the inside of the cabin, or again, not cabin, Tony's house. You can see some of the original paneling, but it's currently undergoing a major renovation. But yeah, there's not a whole lot I can line up in here. I would have to watch the movie again. But again, I don't have Wi-Fi out here, so next time I do a locations video, I will have it downloaded so I can access it immediately. But yeah, this is Tony's house. So I'm now at what's left of the baseball field. So this is definitely the spot. If you notice this root system that's going against the stairs, this is where Camp MVP pulls up. Pat is at the bottom of the stairs. Douchebag MVP coach comes down the stairs. They have a little discussion. And so this structure over here, this was not there during filming. But yeah, this is where the baseball field was. There's not a whole lot left. There's no scoreboard, dugout, or anything. But it's definitely the spot. Because if you notice this slope here, you can see Jerry with these trees and this hill behind him going down to the right. So yeah, this is it. And this is where Tony comes skidding up on his bicycle. I love the sound effect that they threw in there. Thanks for telling me how to run my camp that I bought. You can see the roof of that little cabin back there. And this big structure here was not there during filming. But yeah, this is the baseball field. And that's where Tony bicep curls his bike as he runs over to the stairs.
We're not teaching them about sports, we're teaching them about life!
So this is where the go-kart track was. As you can tell, it has changed drastically over the course of 30 years. But you can't expect a kid's summer camp in 2025 to have a go-kart track with lawsuits and all that. And I think they might have installed the lights and stuff for the production of the movie, because there's nothing still standing, as you can tell. You can see this climbing wall briefly in the movie, where Paul Feig is trying to help the kid that was also in Little Giants climb up, but he can't even make it a step. Okay, so I kind of found this location on accident. I was walking the property and I just happened to notice it. So the lake where the Blob is, there's this dam over here.
Hopefully it holds while I'm down here. But you can see Tony and the boys, they walk through this path here when they're going to go do the hike. And you can tell it's this spot. It's kind of covered right now, but there's a rock. This one right here, it kind of scoops up. You can see that as they walk past it, along with this little waterfall behind it.
And I'm back to doing voiceover because when I was here at Jump Off Rock in Laurel Park, North Carolina, as you can tell, there were a lot of people around. And I'm a little self-conscious about walking around with a camera and talking to myself. But yeah, this is where Tony takes the boys on a hike, where he jumps off of there. Obviously, they must have built that for the movie to get the stuntman to jump off of it, which is pretty impressive because even though there's ground underneath, it's pretty high up. So I'd be curious to see how they did that. And that's where all the boys were standing. This is where Tony is losing his mind. As you can tell, they put up this guardrail at the top of the lookout. And all of this is like sort of out of order, but yeah, I tried to line it up as best as I could. Had to get a video of that adorable dog. That's where Tony is trying to repulse the monkey. The kids are arguing about doing a sit-up with your eyes closed. But yeah, this is just a classic moment. One of my favorites from the movie. This is where they do the infamous kiss my butt. And the kids take off running down this path here. Now, I did go down this path and I walked quite a ways trying to see if this was on the other side, but I don't think it was. I believe that they filmed this part at another location because I don't think they're going to allow them to dig a giant hole near this park area. So I think all this was somewhere else. It's one of those impossible to find locations.
So this location has changed quite a bit, but this is where towards the end of the movie, after Tony is defeated, Tony Sr. shows up, Papa, as he likes to be called.
Oh, Mr. Perkis, sir.
Papa.
Comes out of this door. So the porch has been completely changed, totally redone. These bricks are original. And in the movie, everybody's gathered around right here. This is where they do the, who's been here the longest, and Pat's been here like 20 years or whatever. Yeah, this is where it takes place.
Everybody go home. Have a nice summer. I got to get out of here. I'd love to chat, but I got a thing.
And just like that, my time at Camp Hope has come to an end. This was truly an incredible experience. This was my first ever locations video. I immediately knew that I had to cover this movie, especially since it's never been covered properly. There were some scenes that I didn't get to cover. Specifically, the holding cell that they're keeping Tony in.
Because you're a loser. A loser with a skinny wiener.
I had an idea of where that was, but apparently it was on private property, and the person I talked to said, yeah, they have a lot of dogs on their properties, and maybe you might not be able to get to that one. The scene where Tony and Josh have that back and forth. Tell me how you like the food, Josh.
The food here.
I love the food.
Wait till I finish the question.
I really wanted to find that exact spot, and I looked everywhere at Camp Pinnacle and came close, but I just couldn't find that one spot. Some stuff like the devil log where Tony is running, that type of stuff is like almost impossible to find. The biggest letdown of all was not being able to find the boys' cabin, the Chipmunk Cabin. The person I spoke to, we kind of narrowed it down to like, I think it's either this cabin or this one because they were like the biggest ones on the property. But again, all the doors were screwed shut to keep out
wild animals, you know, during the off season.
Oh, look! A deli meat!
So who knows, maybe one day I'll go back and I can find that cabin. I really wanted to see if that little hidden candy compartment was still there, but you know, maybe next time. And you might be thinking like, well, hey, you didn't cover basically the entire ending of the movie with the Apache relay. A lot of that stuff was either the baseball field, the go-karts, or that grassy area where they were doing the slide scene and the food party. A lot of that stuff is all there. I tried to get as much as I could in a day, but this was a lot of work. It was just me with a backpack on with all my camera gear. So by the end of the day, I was just completely exhausted. But one of the coolest things that happened during this whole process, so Kim from Camp Tonawanda, she said that she found some original paperwork back when they were about to shoot the movie. And I was just gonna get like a video of flipping through this thing. But as I was doing that, she was like, do you just want this? And I'm like, sure. Yeah, if you're not gonna like hang on to it. So basically what this is, there's a lot of papers in here, but I think some of the coolest ones I'll just show you right here. If you want to pause the video and read some of this, it's basically the lease agreement between Camp Tonawanda and Disney. So this is just kind of like an invoice here. This is the location agreement, basically saying, you know, in the spring of '94, we're going to be out there shooting for this many days, and we will give you $1,000 per week. But yeah, if you want to read all that, go for it. I'm certainly not going to read the whole thing right now. The certificate of insurance. I think that this is awesome to have. I've never even considered, like, as far as movie props and memorabilia, like licensing agreement, actual paperwork between locations and companies. So for whatever it's worth, it's truly a one-of-a-kind piece of memorabilia. So with all that said, thank you for tuning in. This was by far the biggest project I ever took on, between driving out there 4 hours, 4 hours back, staying a couple of nights out of town in the mountains, shooting everything, editing for God knows how many hours. This was a lot. I busted out a lot of new equipment, a lot of things I'm trying out, so I hope you appreciate everything I put into the video. So that is going to do it. Thanks again for watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you got a second. I'm going to keep doing more of these locations videos. This was a lot of fun. Just the road trip aspect of it, meeting locals, meeting all the people at the camp. I was talking to Kim at Camp Tonawanda, and if you love heavyweights as much as I do, I had the idea of like, why don't we show the movie at the Gymnasium at Camp Tonawanda? And she was like, yeah, and we could like rent out the cabins. I was like, yeah, we could go over to Camp Pinnacle during the day, check out all the locations. If that sounds like something you would be interested in, let me know in the comments. I'm just putting feelers out there, like see how many people would show up. But I've already looked into, you know, how much it costs to license the movie to show it for a night. Yeah, if that sounds like something you want to do, if you actually want to come down to Camp Hope, watch the movie where they filmed it, let me know in the comments, and yeah, let's make this happen. I think it would be a lot of fun. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. Catch you next time.
All right, dance is over. Everybody go home.